All right. I know some folks are still trickling in, so welcome. Hello. My name is Krista Lynn, and it's a pleasure to be here with you all today. I do have the chat feature going, so if you need anything along the way, please feel free to shoot over a message. I'd love to make this collaborative, so if you have any thoughts or questions along the presentation today, please do share. So today's topic that we'll be talking about is called the healing benefits of Mother Nature. And as I mentioned, my name is Krista Lynn, and it's a pleasure to be here. I figured I'd give you a brief introduction about myself so you know who I am and who's talking to you for the next 30 minutes or so. I am a graduate student, expecting to receive my master's in mental health counseling this May, which is very exciting. And specific, I guess, to this topic, I've always struggled with seasonal depression and not being able to get to the beach during cold winter months here in Boston. So something I've been focusing on a lot lately is how can I appreciate and have gratitude for all seasons. So we'll talk about a number of ways to do that today, but it is something that is definitely close to my heart and something that I've been working on as well. So I'm excited to share this topic with you all. Excuse me. So remember the last time you went outside and took a deep breath and noticed the clean outdoor air and how it may have revitalized you. You might take a moment right now to think about that time when you went outside and said, wow, what a nice day it is. Or maybe just right after the rain came one time, you could smell the rain and that revitalized you. So different types of weather can revitalize all of us. This session today is all about nature, and we'll learn how it can be healing in many ways. So what will we cover today? So obviously the topic is the healing benefits of Mother Nature. So I'd just like to briefly touch on what is healing and what is nature before we dive in and just set some ground expectations because those things can be different for everybody. From there, we'll get into the topic of what are the healing benefits of nature, why you're here today. And then my favorite is we will make a little plan about how you can use nature to improve your health or heal. Because I'm assuming there's a number of reasons why each person is here today, and we're all interested in learning about this, which is great. But if we can actually put it to use, then we'll benefit, right? All right, let's get started. So what is healing? So from the dictionary, healing is the process of making or becoming sound or healthy again. And what I really want to focus on in this definition is healthy again. We're going to dive into what healthy looks like, and we'll also talk about again right now. So one thing to talk about is setting the expectations for ourselves, that throughout life, we may try these new things to learn new things about nature and implement them in our lives. And we may do that, and we may start to heal or feel more healthy than we did the day before. But we also might stop those things. And it's totally fine to just start again. So what is healing? The process of becoming healthy again and again and again, the journey of life. So that's a definition that resonated with me. And to talk about what is healthy first. Complete physical, mental, and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. And the thing that I would love to focus on here, and we'll be touching on these as we go through the benefits today, physical, mental, and social. So we'll be looking for all three things in nature to heal or promote health physically, mentally, and socially. And as we do learn today, I just ask that you pick one or two things to you that sound interesting or intriguing that you want to use in the future, you might like to try. You'll learn a number of kind of tips or tricks, and it's not your job to do all of them, just to take away one thing today that might promote better health physically, mentally, or socially. Alrighty, and what is nature? And if you will, in the chat, please, before you read this, let me know what you think nature is. What is nature to you? Because nature, I think, is different to everybody. Of course, we could say it's outdoors, that is nature. But what is nature to you? Send over a few things in the chat and I'll read them out loud, and then we'll work through this definition and move from there. The woods, Donna says, being among the trees. I love that. That is also nature to me. Fresh air, Stephanie says. Animals, beautiful. Water, beautiful. Hiking, love it. All the elements, yes, Diana, exactly what I was thinking. Fire, earth, water, and air. The sounds of animals and insects, the beach. Wow, look at you all, the stars. The gravel road I walk down, walking with my dogs. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, everybody, for all of these ideas. The sun, perfect. So what I'm noticing too through the chat is that people are talking about the things in nature that remind them of nature, but also that bring them happiness and things that they enjoy. And that's absolutely what this topic is going to be on today. I'm going to ask that you focus on those things only, not into learning about things that you're not interested in, but just focusing on the ones that you are. The last couple of things here, the trees, walking the dogs, everything, including humans. I love that. Humans, nature. Exactly. And that's why it's so important for us as humans to be in nature, because we are one. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. So here is a definition, but I think we got a better definition in the chat that was more well-rounded. So nature, the phenomena of the physical world collectively, including plants, animals, landscape, and other features and products of the earth, as opposed to humans or human creations. And so that was the definition that came up, but I think I love what was said last in the chat, that we are nature. I think I'll change this after that. Thank you. So what are some of the healing benefits of nature? So nature reduces symptoms such as anger, fear, stress, anxiety, depression, blood pressure, and heart rate. And I'm just going to pause for you to read back through that column one more time. And maybe these are something that you struggle with from time to time, or maybe today. Likely you're already here because you know there are healing benefits of nature, but just take a moment here to remember that these are the benefits the next time it's hard to get outside and do something outdoors. The second column, nature also has been proven to reduce tension and physical or chronic pain in the body, conflict, frustration, and negative thoughts. I love this negative thoughts one because I think sometimes when you get outside and you're in, the element that you enjoy specifically, whether it's the beach or a lake or a forest, sometimes we get lost within ourselves, within the elements around us. And all we really can do is think positively and breathe outdoors. So hopefully you can see. So I was mentioning that vitamin D is such a wonderful thing because we can receive it outdoors and we don't have to actually take a physical vitamin, which I think is a very amazing thing, or beautiful thing. I think I said the first time. Also has been shown to increase mood, mindfulness, creativity, which is amazing, and calm. So when we're walking outdoors, we're noticing a bunch of different things than we would typically see in our homes or in our offices, where we're able to get outside and be in something bigger than our typical office or home spaces. We feel a vast amount of energy and kind of room for improvement in all areas of life, right? I'm going to pause here and let you continue to read through that one more time and see if anything kind of comes up for you that's important to you. And of course, as I read through these three columns, so 3 columns are, if anything at all comes up and you have questions or you agree with memory, concentration strengthening, cognition, resilience, and sleep. And what I think is great about all of these things are if we're finding ways to increase our immune system, increase our cognition, resilience, and sleep, we're also able to age more gracefully and live, more happily and free over the years. As proven through different research. And I'd be happy to hear if you are aware of any other healing benefits of nature that I didn't cover. Feel free to drop them into the chat. Once we do that, we'll start to get through some ideas to find yourself in nature and start to feel these benefits. Alrighty, I'm not seeing anything yet in the chat. Maybe we covered everything. But if you do know of anything else, feel free to let us know. All right, we will move on. Okay, so as I mentioned, we'll be going over some examples today, lots of examples. And we're really going to try to touch on the physical, mental, and social components so that we can start to heal and become healthy again with nature. So the first, and I think it's super simple, is a plant indoors. So of course it's great to get outside if we can, but we can start to bring some of that nature indoors if we have to. So maybe a plant at your desk, at your office, maybe at your home, in your living area and spaces. Also great gift ideas. Maybe start promoting nature and healing benefits to others. The forest, I think somebody already touched on that in the chat. Hiking. The forest is also a great idea where you can bring a friend or a pet and increase your happiness through both. The smell of the trees and the leaves and the fresh air there. Yes, I see in the chat everyone has trouble keeping plants alive, and I thought about showing you a plant I had over here, but it's not looking too happy, so I didn't. Lisa has 16 orchids, so I guess we could all ask her for some tips on how to keep them alive. The ocean, my favorite. I'm from Rhode Island, the ocean state. The ocean is so vast, right? You walk to the ocean and you can't really see the end. So that feeling of just being open when we get to the ocean can really help us mentally. Our own backyards. How often do we find ourselves working from home at this desk? Take your computer outside in the backyard, 30 minutes a day, whatever it might be. Sit in the grass, feel the grass in your fingertips or perhaps your feet. We can make our everyday life start to have some of these habits as well, so that they're not things that we have to think about and putting extra stress on ourselves, saying, oh, I must find a way to be in nature. If we can do things that we're already doing in our day-to-day life, that's going to set us up the best for success. And then an open window. If you must kind of have a seat at your desk or wherever you are for back support, you can always sit near your window and open the window and feel the breeze. So some simple things here to start. As we go through and I touch on the different things, if any of these are items that you're going to make a goal for here at the end to implement more, feel free to drop them into the chat and we'll see which are most popular. Alrighty, some more examples here. So physical examples mostly on this slide, biking. And you can, of course, bike on a path or bike through your commute or bike with others. There's a lot of blue bikes now in most cities or different types of rentable bikes. If you don't have a bike, it's fun to take it to a nearby park. Also brings kind of those happiness feelings from childhood that we often forget. Once you learn how to ride a bike, you always know how. I picked it up recently again myself, and it is a freeing feeling to get out there and be moving faster than you would walking and feel that fresh air on your skin. Walking is obviously a very easy and great example. You can also do that, again, with others, with your pets, with maybe a long lost friend you haven't been in touch with. The playground, you can bring your own children. You could actually just go yourself and ride on a swing. How much fun would that be? Or maybe connect with family members or friends with children. So a lot of you'll hear me saying throughout all of these things, it's not necessarily just connecting with nature that is important, and we can definitely do that on our own, but I'm also adding in some other elements and pieces here to also increase health and wellness. Some games. Never too late to learn, right? Tennis, basketball, volleyball. I could go on and on. Just kicking a soccer ball back and forth with anyone, a frisbee, a football. Gets that heart rate up physically, good for mental health and social. I see on the chat here, I'm planning on buying some more plants. Beautiful. And I hope I can fully resume walking to my favorite lake and just sit on the beach. I love that. Or sit on the bench, excuse me. Pickleball, April says, great idea. I love it. Bocce, also a good one. And then finally here, meditation. So something maybe not as getting the heart rate up too much, but it is also a physical component, calming the body mentally and physically. Guided meditation or group meditation can be done socially as well. Any other games in the chat would be great. Anything you've picked up lately that you hadn't done in a long time, that sounded like you were maybe a little scared to try, but then you did and you remembered how fun it was to be outdoors playing that game with friends and family. Please feel free to drop in the chat and we'll share as we go. Alrighty, so the first one I already kind of touched on. If you are working from home and have the ability to go outdoors, even 20 minutes a day, that's great. Maybe taking one of the conference phone calls outdoors, sitting down or walking and talking. You can kind of build all those things in together. Calling a friend that you haven't spoke with for a while and taking a walk, getting outdoors. I know I'm doubling up on you. You're welcome to go walk outside alone by yourself. That's also a really great thing. Pets, wonderful. Sandy says kayaking. I love that. There are now on Amazon, not to promote Amazon by any means, but they have blow up kayaks and paddle boards for, I think they used to be like $400 or $500 and now they're going for around 100. I think a lot of people are looking for them and more companies have come out with them. So kayaking is great. I have a blow up kayak. Donna says, great. Walking during lunch, beautiful, great idea. You have a little extra time before or after you eat, beautiful. Resume hiking. Diana has a beautiful message here. I won't read it out loud, but please do feel free to read along. Reading. You can read outdoors. You can read by your window. And then coffee. Coffee can be drink anywhere, but also good socially too. Meeting up with a friend at a coffee shop. Sitting outdoors. All right, let's get on. I think we're on to our last slide here of some examples. And then I want to give you some time to set a goal for yourself on what you're going to try to do. Actually, we have 2 more examples. Picnic. So right now here in New England, it might be a little bit tough to have a here and there. So making the most of them when we can. Yard work. If you're somebody that maybe hires somebody to do yard work, you could do it yourself and be out inside in nature. Maybe even it's just a quarter of that yard work. Volunteering, you can do outdoors. You'll feel better mentally and physically and socially. Gardening is great, lots of work, but really a good feeling when you start to eat your own things that you are gardening, or of course have your flowers inside your house that you grew. That's a really special feeling. Going to a public park, and then maybe flying a kite. When's the last time you ever did that? So again, I'm going to ask you just to take another moment here and think about any of these things that you kind of caught your eye today that might be things you can implement into your daily life, or maybe once in a while just to get those healing benefits. I know, April, it started snowing here too, but I think it's going to be warm again sometime soon. Visiting family in Puerto Rico and sitting on the beach, beautiful. Teresa says, I am frozen. I hope that's not the case anymore. Let me know. Okay, good. Alrighty, this is the last slide. So, a few of the physical senses here. With nature, we can touch it, right? My partner was telling me last night, we were talking about this, and he said there's this concept of earthing that I didn't know about. I knew what it was, but I didn't know the technical term. It's going outside in bare feet and putting your feet in the dirt or the grass and just really being connected with the earth. Listening to nature outdoors, listening to those birds chirp. It's a beautiful kind of meditation that you can just listen to see the noises that you hear. Feeling nature, going outside in the rain, feeling it on your skin, or maybe those snowflakes that are starting to come down here if you're in the same area I am. Smelling nature, we kind of touched on that already, but just taking a moment to really be with it. Taking a nice deep breath, feeling the fresh air, smelling what you smell. I love all these ideas that are coming in, beautiful. And then finally here, seeing. Maybe looking up at the stars at night, or maybe just walking around and saying, I'm going to walk very slow as I possibly can, and just notice everything that's around me. I'm going to read through a couple ideas that we have going on and give you a few moments to digest this one. Sungate, oh yeah, sunrise or sunset, Diana, beautiful. Beautiful. Sandy says she's going to put a hammock in a tree. I love that. Amazing. So before we get on to this kind of goal setting piece of one of the things that came from this for you today, please just take a moment and write anything in the chat that maybe you came up with something else that I didn't cover that would be really helpful to share with others. If not, I hope you do have 1 or 2 ideas so that on the next slide we can set a goal for you and that you can take this with you and start to implement this into your life immediately. If you have done any of these other webinars with me before, you know that I am a big advocate for SMART goals and putting these things right into action so that we feel the benefits right away. So what we're going to spend the last couple of minutes here doing is setting a SMART goal for ourselves. If you aren't familiar with SMART goals, it's an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And I'm going to go through an example here with you on the next page if you aren't familiar, but this is a wonderful tool to set goals that are really achievable and successful for you. So here's my goal. Specific. I want to get outdoors more. It's really difficult, as I mentioned before, for me to enjoy winter, struggling with seasonal depression, but it's doable if we set ourselves up for success. So the goal has to be specific. I want to walk outdoors. I can't just say I want to become more healthy. It has to be specific, right? And then measurable. When and for how long will we do it? So I will do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1:30 to 2, because right before that I teach a yoga class, and then I have the time afterwards for myself. Is it achievable for me? So this is important. It can't be something that somebody told you that you should do. You shouldn't overcommit to something that isn't achievable for you. So for me, yes, I'm free 30 minutes 2 times a week. And to make myself accountable, I might tell a friend, maybe they'll join me, or maybe they'll just check in on me and see if I'm doing my goal as I said I would over time. I'm also thinking now of some other things I could write down here for achievable. So recently this winter, I invested in some nice mittens and a hat so that when I'm outdoors, and I always have a scarf, I'm extra warm so that nothing's going to stop me from wanting to be outside and coming back in. Number 4, relevant. It has to be important to you and your values. For me, yes, health and wellness is my number 1 value. So this goal is absolutely important to me. And then finally, the last one is time bound. So let's start out small and say we're going to do this for a week or for a month so that we can really make sure that we're hitting this goal, we're doing it. And then at the end of that time, we can assess and see if we need to change anything, or maybe the seasons change and that outdoor activity changes for you. So you have about 2 minutes here to set your own goal. And I would love it if people could share in the chat what your goal is going to be. And if you're crunched for time or you have to sign off for any reason, feel free to screenshot this, and there will be a recording as well so you can work through it. And if you have any other questions or comments too, we'll use these last 2 minutes to set the goal, or kind of have a Q&A to wrap up. So please do share your goals before you sign off. If you do have those 2 minutes, that's the intention of this, is that we have something to take with and run right when we leave and not just sign off. But if you have to, I understand. But I'm hoping to see at least, let's say, 10 goals before we do. And so Sandy had said that she is going to set up a hammock when it gets warmer. I wonder what we could do before it gets warmer. Lisa, my goal is to walk once the weather is better, times per week. Donna, commit to going outside at lunchtime. Perfect. So I would suggest 5-10 minutes, commit to a certain time frame in a certain amount of time so that you will hold yourself accountable, write it down, check it off when you do it, because that will give you a good dopamine burst that'll make you feel good that you've completed your goal. April, I'd like to be outside walking during lunch and with the dogs. Perfect. Everyone's up for this walk at lunch. If any of you work together or near each other, maybe you can make a little community out of it. How beautiful would that be? Julia, same thing, walking every day in the office. Perfect. Tina, the same thing. I love it, Tina. 30 minutes once per week. Very measurable. That's the way we set ourselves up for success. Alanis, go outside more than my lunch breaks to keep extra layers with me. Yes, that's how we will achieve that goal, setting ourselves up with that extra warmth. Teresa, everyone's going for a walk. This is great. My goal is to walk outside Monday to Friday after lunch, 1:30 to 2. Beautiful. Helps me refocus and digest. Yes. Do this for 2 weeks in review. Golden star, Teresa. Love it. Alanis, take my dog for more walks too. Catherine, here we go. All right. Well, if any of you do each other, I'd love to hear about at a later session that a little community was formed and you can help keep each other accountable through that. But that is the session that I had planned for you today. I'm glad to see that you are going to think about some things to put into use going forward. And yeah, I'll be here for a final minute or two if you do have any last questions or comments, but it's been a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you very much.